What kind of aid did the Soviet Union provide to Latin America? Have you ever wondered how the Soviet Union influenced Latin America during the Cold War? The aid they provided was a mix of economic, military, and political support, all aimed at countering United States' influence in the region. Let's break it down. First, the Soviet Union offered economic aid through long-term, low-interest loans. In the 1970s, countries like Argentina, Uruguay, and Brazil benefited from this support. For instance, Argentina signed agreements that saw over 12% of its trade involve the Soviet Union and its allies. Uruguay received a $50 million loan for dam construction, which had to be repaid in raw materials. Brazil secured $19 million to build a power plant, with the requirement to sell coffee to the Soviets and buy Soviet machinery. In Peru, aid was linked to establishing joint enterprises that relied on Soviet technology and capital. This approach reflected the Soviet idea of an international division of labor, where Latin America supplied raw materials while the Soviet Union provided industrial goods. Next, let's talk about military and technical assistance. The Soviet Union supplied arms and military equipment to various governments and revolutionary movements. Cuba was the most significant recipient, receiving almost all its weaponry from the Soviet Union. This support was vital for Cuba after the 1959 revolution, especially when the United States imposed economic sanctions. The Soviet Union also provided oil and technical assistance to Cuba, helping to subsidize its sugar and nickel industries. The military presence in Cuba peaked during the 1960 Cuban Missile Crisis, when the Soviet Union deployed medium-range nuclear missiles on the island. Political and ideological support was another key aspect of Soviet aid. The Soviet Union backed leftist and communist movements across Latin America, promoting socialist revolutions to challenge United States dominance. They supported regimes and insurgencies that aligned with their interests. However, local dynamics sometimes complicated this support, such as the rivalry between Fidel Castro's government and the Cuban Communist Party. In summary, the aid from the Soviet Union to Latin America combined economic loans with specific trade conditions, military assistance, and political backing. This was part of a broader strategy to expand Soviet influence and challenge United States hegemony. While this aid aimed to support regional autonomy and development, it often came with conditions that created new dependencies. The legacy of this support includes both backing for anti-imperialist movements and the imposition of external influence, similar to the role the United States played in the region.